Welcome back. We're going to get some shipped done. Charlie, I'm excited to talk about this today. We're going to be talking about partnerships and hopefully extract from my brain some of what I've done to do this so that you can both steal it and be able to do it as well. But also because I don't know how to teach this necessarily for somebody who's struggling with it because humbly, it comes pretty easy for me, and I don't know why it's easy for
You're
me and
pretty
hard for
good at
others.
it.
So yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
talk a bit about that.
I love it. Yeah. Um, so I love working with partnerships. I've done well sometimes, and but in some ways I've been kind of stuck. I think part of the reason I'd been stuck really was I had my foot in two worlds, right? I was real estate practice and referrals while you sleep,
Right.
and so I've just jumped. Part of it, I was also doing the development. I've now got two great developers working with me. And I think the other was just kind of learning like how does this work with like for a partnership? Like what would make it work? I think I've learned a lot. And
Right.
now I want to jump in and like my dream come true scenario is I work with someone that they've got a lot of clients that like me and them can work together and like they've got one of the things that I realized this morning, I love working with visionaries,
Mhm.
and the thing is if you've got a lot of clients, like you might have to like encourage them and have the tenacity to like motivate them. And I don't have that hunger. So that's one of the
Right.
reasons I love working with partners because a lot of times they've got the vision and the ability to do the tenacity for their clients.
Right.
And they love it because I can vision with them and then actually create the solution.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And so let's define a few things here when it comes to partnerships. So partnerships uh can be a few things in terms of like a go-to-market playbook. The general idea seems to be around doing things together, right? Like that's the basic idea. So that could be everything from joint marketing, that could be like joint sales processes.
The sun came out.
uh, but yeah, it could even sometimes be like clear integration into a process where it's like, hey, this other provider fits here when we fit here, so we naturally sell them into this solution. And same thing, like we look for those overlaps where somebody, so like in those very direct partnerships where you're very much looking for like this person has this need, and so we're going to directly set up the intro and try and sell them into that. So like there's that. For me, what I've found is kind of a similar thing to what you found with referrals while you sleep, where if you could create a scenario where you're continually doing something together, it creates a space where there is more of those other things that are maybe harder to manage consistently unless you're like the sales pipeline kind of person, right? So you more naturally get that outcome of like direct deals coming through, direct client referrals, that sort of thing, if you're doing something else together. And for me, one of the things that I have found as my thing to do together is webinars, right? So like that's
Right.
that's been the big thing, and there's a number of reasons why I like it as a thing. So there's obviously benefits to like the duo show style, like what we're doing, but what this doesn't do for either of us is when we do this sort of content, there isn't as much of a thought or expectation around, we email both of our lists, we promote a thing that directly generates leads generated, right? We're creating a raw asset that builds influence, education. It does a number of really good, powerful things, and it's worth doing. But one of the things that it's missing is it doesn't grow our lists. And so part of why I like webinars is because it is a mechanism where you get this same sort of thing happening, but with a webinar, you promote it, right? You say, hey, there's this thing going on. You should show up. There's a place to sign up. And everybody who signs up for it is saying, I want this thing. And there's a natural expectation of you're also, growing your list in the process too, right? So webinars can be really powerful for that. So that's really, that's part of why I defaulted to them, is because my big reason for wanting to do webinars was because I knew I could use it as a way to grow my list. And so I wanted to grow my list in an effective way by doing something that I like doing anyway, which was teaching, right? And so that for me, I think, is why the webinar zone is a really powerful mechanism to integrate into any partnership playbook. Now, sure, like doing podcast content together, doing duo videos, doing that sort of stuff, that those are good too, and they should be done as well. But if you want to maximize how a partnership actually, like, that you do this thing consistently together, and that you're going to get an outcome of a grown list, right? Like that really works well with webinars. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the people that you partner with want to grow their email list. And the thing with duo videos is the reason they work is you're giving the other person what they want. And I feel like since the sun came up, I'm super laggy, but I can hear you okay. It's like a overdub mismatch.
Oh, look, Godzilla.
Exactly. Yeah. So that it makes sense. They want to grow their leads list. You're helping them grow their leads list. And like the leads are getting to know you before they even come on board. You're keeping that relationship. So yeah, I think I really like that idea. Probably also the reason you like the mid-ticket idea, right? Which, maybe you could do a mid-ticket offer together, which is basically a paid webinar. So you grow your list, plus provide something of value to your current clients, and you're doing it together.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I really see them as like structurally very similar, right? The biggest difference I'd say between a webinar versus a workshop is webinar is I'm going to try and solve a very clear but probably fairly narrow problem in the webinar, and thus it's often shorter too. So I do want something to be clear and actionable, but I want it to be very specific. In the workshop, the problem should still be fairly narrow, but like if I'm going to charge somebody for something, I want them to really walk away with what they need to do to succeed at what I told them. So it's more likely going to include templates, checklists, the actual, like, really the meat of what to do, and more in-depth walkthrough on it. But ultimately, like, both work well, and both are great. And the biggest downside to a workshop is that they take more time to deliver, and they take more time to prepare. So it's just it's mainly an effort sort of thing, right? So but it's a great way to, like, ascend what you potentially do together when it comes to using that sort of webinar framework.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is a little bit different too, webinars, I generally have a very clear offer being made at the end. Workshops are a little bit, they're actually kind of reverse. An offer is made at the beginning, and made well, but still in a cool way. And then you convey the content, and you might be subtly reminding people of the offer throughout, but it's not like a hard thing. And then you remind them of the offer again at the end. So I do a little bit of a different structure on that. But yeah. Anyway, so for you, what would you say? What would you say like makes it hard to think about, like either making webinars part of the playbook, doing specifically making webinars part of the playbook, but with partners, right? Like leveraging the benefit of partners in it. So not just doing your own webinars, but like using that as a tool. What feels clear and what feels hard about that? Boom roasted.
I mean, I don't think that I'd ever even thought about it, really. Like, and so that's eye-opening. Like, that's simple.
Right.
Because where I was, I mean, it makes sense because now you're like building trust over time. Like you're better explaining what referrals while you sleep does and can do than I am. And so like the more that people spend time with me, the more they kind of see the vision for how referrals while you sleep can help them and their clients.
Right.
More than like, so like because I've got like what it does, what it can do, the vision for the future. Like, I mean, again, it's kind of that wave a magic wand thing. For a partner, like, man, if I could do anything, it would be like, let's set you up which we've talked about and I can't think of the name right now, but the content jam, right?
Oh yeah.
Like for me, that's the end goal of someone. And I was thinking about today, like, why the content jam? And what I realized, it's how I solved how do I get new people in easily? How do I create stickiness so my recurring revenue lasts longer? And how do I get my best clients to show up to keep selling everyone else? Like I built the content jam to solve those issues, and it worked.
Right.
And then the bonus is, well, the reason your best people keep showing up, everybody's actually creating content at the end. And like as a bonus, they're going to make more money, which makes them stay longer. Like it's a nice circle. I think I fear, like, I don't know how to share that simply. Maybe it is that simple.
Right.
Maybe you're, but all that to say, like, that's what I've been thinking, like, all right, how do I explain this? Because that's kind of maybe it's simple, maybe it's not, but I like the idea of, hey, let's do webinars together. And then, the ultimate goal is, like, I want it to be where when someone signs up for one of my partner systems, like, they can give them 30 days free, or they just like automatic, like, I'm part of their onboarding package, right? Like in some way, like that's what I want. I want to find partners where, like, they see the value of, man, my people need referrals when I sleep. And, then I'm working with a group of people. And I think the insight is, why don't you lead with what they really want, which is leads, which is, hey, let's do these webinars together.
Right.
To grow the list. And because as people get to, in fact, I was on a call with Vanessa today, and I almost reached out to you. I was like, dude, like, we should do content jams for FounderWell, because we're on this call, and like every SaaS company, I'm like, they need us. They need us. And she said, I've got an idea for you. But I was like, oh my gosh, like, because she knows me, and she's known me now for a year. I'm so terrible at explaining it. She finally understands it. She's like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Oh, why didn't you say this? Like, I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. So here's the trick that I found. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing that I think a lot of people do. I don't know why I approach it this way, aside from, I don't know. It's probably like some sort of fear of rejection or something. I've just figured out it's the easiest way to be accepted in this stuff, but it works like every time. Which is, I don't approach people and say, "Hey, can I do a webinar for your audience?" I don't ever say that. What I say is I come to people and I say, "Hey, want to do, like, you want to promote your thing to my audience?" And then, like, maybe we can promote it together, right? And so it gets promoted to both audiences, right? Because we're going to do something cool and you're probably going to want your people to come to it too, right? And so that's what I typically do and what I set up. So I'm always looking for who are the people that have something powerful for my people that I can create the space and the opportunity for them to get to, share their vision, share their power with my community. And I typically find a couple of things. So one, whenever possible, I look for a webinar topic that naturally reveals both of our superpower, right? Like I don't try and force that if I can't figure that out with somebody. But if I can, then that's the ideal, where it really is, and it does feel like a joint webinar. It feels like something that is very specifically like we're doing it together. We're each taking a different part of a process, that sort of idea. And that works great. When I can figure out how to do that, that's great. But sometimes I struggle to come up with an idea that naturally does that, depending on who I'm partnering with. But if I know who my intended audience is and that their message would appeal to that audience, then it's really easy for me to say, you come in and talk to my people about this, and it will create opportunity. It'll create value. It'll create leads. It'll create opportunity for both of us, right? And so it's more an excuse to, it's more an excuse to find out how to promote them. And this, I mean, you're very familiar with this concept as a strategy. This is how you do your one-to-ones already, right? You're not focused on how can I get referrals from this person. You're focused first and foremost on learning everything that you can about them and figuring out how to bring value and bring an opportunity. And here's what's really powerful and really interesting about it. Over time, it starts to become like, when you see that clear zone of, hey, do you think your people might be interested in what I do? Like, it's an easy yes, right? Because there's already been a good amount of value. And it's kind of the same thing as like your realtor filter, right? Where it's like, there's a natural zone where, quite honestly, the partnerships that are going to last, because like zeroing in on the right partnerships is very much you want to find the people who are not just takers, that they are givers as well. So you are both givers together, right? Boom roasted. And the thing that you're looking for in it is you're looking for something that, like, they want you to succeed too. And they see the opportunity for where your service, your product fits in with what they're doing as well, right? So it's, they want it to be a long-term thing. And what you're looking for is probably about 5 of those partnerships long-term that you could just keep doing content together from different angles. And then you might have a bigger army that's like up to 10, maybe 20 that you don't do stuff as frequently, but there still makes sense to do something with, right? And yeah, like that zone, it was the quickest way for me to grow my list over 3,000 people was because every webinar I was doing with the right audiences, I was growing my list by 100, 200, 300 a shot because I was tapping into already warm audiences, which is drastically more effective and cost effective than it was to try and grow via paid ads or even via organic. It was, just going straight to the people who had already opted in, often straight to the customers, right? I got to skip past all of the algorithm and get into just the actual relationships. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, trust is the hard part at the end of the day. Or it's the part that, I guess you could say it's the hard part. It takes time. But you're just using their time. Yeah, so that makes sense. So do a webinar, say, hey, look, I'd like to, it's literally what I've done with partners, right?
Right.
Hey, I would like to do a webinar, share it with my sphere. Probably then hey, would you like to do a series of these?
Right.
And kind of figure out a way to, hey, do you think your people would like this?
Right.
And slow and steady. And again, what I've taught is, find partners that can bring 100K a year,
Right.
Like you said, you don't need many of those. 5 of those is 500K, and probably better clients, more profitable clients. Cost of sales is going to be less than, SDRs or any other kind of leads, right?
Right. Yeah.
And every other lead you get gets to partake of the webinar. So you've got good content to build the follow-up.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it's one of the few things that kind of works for all of them. And like the webinars themselves, they're not going to be something that your entire list consumes all the time either. What I found is that we see about a 3% activation, off of a list. But man, that's a pretty consistent 3% activation. And it doesn't tend to go up drastically. It doesn't tend to go down drastically. And when you promote a webinar, you don't see the list get burnt like it does if you're just doing kind of that non-valuable follow-up around, just checking in and stuff like that, right? It's people find value in knowing, oh, there's an event going on. It's like it becomes less of a you're annoying me with all this follow-up, and it becomes more of a this isn't the right fit for me right now, but it's cool to know that it's going on, right? It's like I wish I could go. I wish it made sense for me, or it's more that zone than it is, shut up. Right.
Right.
So yeah. And yeah, when it comes to finding the right partners for something like this, what is your way of thinking through the people who could bring 100,000 a year? What's your process for that? I'll see how it aligns with what I think about for who I select for partnerships for this sort of idea.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about the people that I already know that I've thought about.
Right.
So for me, it's someone that has a community, and they help the community grow in their business.
Right.
One of the things that I'm realizing, it could be someone that has a community of entrepreneurs where they, it's more about your lifestyle. I fit in well with that.
Right.
In a lot of ways. But someone that, in a way they're kind of a shepherd, they're trusted. They take care of their flock. And I think it makes sense because the content jam, everything, just like it's a win-win-win for that.
Right.
So that's one. The other that I've thought about is someone that has the ability to has deep knowledge in their industry, and has the ability to like really be the face of the product in that niche. So um, that is the other one
Right.
that can work. So those are, I wish I was able to pick more of something, but I'm always all over the board. So far, it's worked out.
Yeah. So, I mean, in that zone, yeah, that's part of what I look for too. I think there's another thing that for this strategy, if you wanted to take it to the next level, that might become part of your filtering process. Part of what I look for in this too is I look for who are the people that are serving, like filling a powerful need in my community too, right? Like who are the people that I want speaking to my audience? Does that make sense? Because that's because when you're looking at it just from the standpoint of the value that I could bring to the table, that's useful. But there's also something to be said about like finding a good partnership is also finding those places where you're like, I could powerfully recommend you to my audience. And that makes for a good long lasting partnership as well, right? And that also makes it so that when you partner for a webinar, you're able to do some of the stuff that I typically do, which is like, I don't just shill people's products. I tend to be like, what's actually good about this? Is it good? Is this useful for people? Why is it useful? So when I talk about it and I say like, I can celebrate referrals while you sleep powerfully because I actually believe in it, right? Because I actually believe in what you've put together and what you're doing. It's not just a, relationship or sponsorship or something like that. It's like, I like what you're doing and it makes sense to me strategically. Right. And so similarly, like part of why we have a good potential partnership is because I very clearly see how you being part of my client's life makes my product better. Right. And so clear. in finding partnerships like that could be a good power too. Now it's like the ultimate Venn diagram of those things is that you're looking for that powerful, useful message that does amplify like what you're doing, right? And is really good at making your product even better. But the other thing is, yes, that they already have a community, right? And so like that's where for me and you, I'm less of an ideal partner, right? Because I don't already have like the massive community around at least what I'm speaking to right now that we could do content together and just plug you into, right? But if I did, that starts to become incredibly powerful for you, right? So we've got a couple of things going and I'm building the other things and it ultimately will end up there for you. Anyway, but that's part of what I look for too. And I found there's a few different zones that I look at for where those potential communities and partnerships come from. My favorite ones, and this is why I specialize in what I do, is other software, because you're not unique in the like creating the content around your own product is hard. Like that's a really common thing that I found. And so part of what I found is like, there's this really interesting zone where it's like, if I can help people talk about their own product, they will promote that to their market. And I get to be in front of their customer list in the process. Right. And so for you, like, that's part of what I'd be looking at as well is like, what are the other softwares that you feel like really fit in with what you're doing? And could you partner with them? Could you create something where it's like, they already have the market, because they tend to have like the more established softwares tend to have big lists that they're probably not utilizing well when it comes to content. And so being able to solve that problem for them could be really effective. That's part of what I found. So I look for those. I look for integrations or tools that really powerfully connect up to what I'm doing, right? And the more that we can make it clear, like, hey, when these go together, it's really powerful, right? And you know, for me, since I don't have software around this, I'm not looking at it personally in the, you know, software, upgrading my software. I'm looking at it as software that maybe helps people do more what I'm talking about, or at a higher level or whatnot, right? But for you, it could be either like, what's the software that they use before they get to you, or before they're doing what they're doing with you, or what's the software that would help them on the back end of what you're doing? Like that sort of zone could be powerful. Or even like, is there a software that elevates what you're doing? That would be a good thing, that if somebody was also using that software, it would be powerful for you in amplifying what you're doing, right? So I look for those. One of the things that I found for partners, like when I'm helping clients do this, is I literally have them, like, half the time they already have integrations, right? Like they have integrations that they're working with, contacts at these companies. There's always the opportunity to reach out and just say, hey, we use your product a lot. It really amplifies what we're doing. You want to do some content together? Like, and it could be as easy as that, where you literally just plug them in to what you're doing, and go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What software am I using, or my clients using?
Yeah. Do any ideas come to mind that would potentially be a zone, or what softwares do you use, or would you recommend somebody use, like, in the process of doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, you know, go high level. Right? Anyone that sells that, you know, that comes up, because I mean, I think that's a great system.
Right.
A CRM like that. So whatever CRM my clients are using.
Okay.
And what else do they use? Email marketing software. You know, if they've got an email marketing software. I mean, you know, thinking about it, you know, probably be good to ask them, hey, what all do you do for marketing? What are all the it's in again. Thank God I don't sparkle. I'd be dead. You know, yeah, it'd probably be good to ask, like, what are all the marketing tools that you use? Like, what are all the marketing processes? I mean, it could be anything from someone that does direct mail to, you know, email. And, you know, I don't know. You can tell me. I don't know if social media software as much, because, you know, I'm really a competitor to that in some ways. But you know, probably, you know, thinking about it, the streaming services, right? So StreamYard, Zencast, Squadcast, Riverside.
Right.
All my clients use that. Which, a little side note, I've been doing some research, and I think if people want more of a simple, low cost, I think I'm going to recommend Google Meet instead of Zoom, because Google Meet records higher quality.
Does it by default?
Because, yeah, so Zoom only records higher quality when it's solo, not when it's double, side by side. So, which is what the videos we want. So, a little side note.
Interesting.
Yeah, so recording, what else? If they've got any kind of analytic tools, right? Um, you know, Probably should reach out to Matt with Precision um,
Right.
again. And, if you want to go further, for promotional product company, I know there's a couple out there. So that, I mean, kind of got me like everything around the marketing sphere, right?
Right.
Especially since because one of the hard things, I specifically didn't want to lead to this, but part of the hard thing is like, who is my list? And it's people that, someone asked today, what's your vertical? Well, I don't do a lot of things for one person. I do one thing for a lot of people. I help them, and they want to build their business without burnout. And so what is it? Like, it's people that want to grow without having their calendar full with, shitty leads. uh, uh, you know, and so any other marketing tool that they use. But the other part is, me and you, we talked about this forever, but I was focused on the vertical of real estate agents and lenders for so long. And that really capped my vision. Like I had to create, in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so, which, I was in the industry, like all the things make sense. I learned a lot. It was a great constraint. But now, like, all right, who is my list now? And I was actually on a call with FounderWell today, and they were like, who's your list? I mean, it's people that want to turn conversations into, contracts, people that want to build without burnout. And that's a lot of people, but that's not everybody. Like a hunter is going to hate me. Though, I mean, the company that hires hunters will love me because I'm going to make the hunters more effective. The hunter will have no patience for referrals while you sleep. They don't want referrals while you sleep. They want to eat nose for breakfast,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few zones on that, right? So in the tools in the software, there's the zone of building out your overall list, because like there's the target of like the exact right person, which is the person that wants social content and staying top of mind to be easy, right? Like that person that they want minimum viable product for making sure that the right people remember me when it's time, right? Or reach out to me when they have their need for me, right? And you're right, that's not going to be everybody, and that's going to be hard to necessarily find perfect software for, but that zone can be a really good zone to try and find the right software, right? Like, what are the softwares that are designed to do that? Actually, I know of a few zones that are in that bucket, right? So I'd be thinking about that. I'd be thinking, like, who else shares this same kind of mission? There's a tool, there's a company that I just ran across that the whole thing that they do is, I don't even remember what it is, so I'll have to look it up and find it for you. But what I remember is that they monitor the signals of what's going on like your LinkedIn following and stuff like that, to say that these are the right people to reach out to, right? So what they're doing is they're solving for, instead of reaching out to everybody or instead of talking to everybody, it's like, this is the person that just showed that they got a recent job. This is the person that just recently engaged with your posts This is the person. Does that make sense? Like it's
Yeah.
like a AI detection of who's actually like a warm opportunity to have a conversation with.
Right.
That's in a similar zone of, I don't want to talk to everybody. I don't want to hunt through everybody. I want to talk to the people who are warm, who are likely going to be interested in this topic. So you can look for companies that are trying to do that, that are trying to get you in front of the right people. Another zone that's like that, it's not software, but big companies could be in the right zone for this. People who are doing programmatic advertising could be the right zone as well, because it's typically like, I'm not targeting somebody based on vague demographics. I'm targeting them based on like, they just bought this specific thing, right? Like I'm very zeroed in on exactly the right people, and like, and going after that. It's typically there's a lot more data points. It's like what Facebook used to be, in terms of the number of data points and how you could like zero in on exactly the right person. Programmatic, you could still do that. So companies that are doing programmatic or offering programmatic advertising, or like software to do it, could be a good zone for you, right? Because they're in that zone of like, the people who are doing that style of advertising already understand getting the message in front of the perfect people at the right time, right? Does that make sense? And so you're two different zones, and plus it could be a good zone that upgrades what you're already doing, because there's so much alignment, right?
Right.
Anyway, so those are some things that I think about, where it's like software there's potentially natural alignment, but still you could potentially get in front of a company that like doesn't have everybody trying to do content with them, right? That isn't the person that everybody like, because it would be hard for you to do something with like high level directly, right? It's possible, but that's such a big popular company, it's going to be hard to get that partnership. But going after one of these other companies that still has a massive list, still has that alignment, but not exactly, they may not be the people that everybody's targeting, right? That's part of what I look for here. Does that help you at all? Does that thinking make sense?
Yeah, kind of people that are already problem aware, solution aware, and who is the services that already serve those people.
Yeah, and specifically for you, it's like these are the people that they're on the same mission as you. They're just attacking it from a different angle. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think that's that's one of the insights I've learned about other businesses. I'd kind of forgotten about that in my real estate practice, because like someone died and they needed you. Like there wasn't the customer journey. So I like that. Like, start at the top of the customer journey and work down.
Right. Yeah. And so those are good potential. And when I say software like that, it's like a loose thing for me. It's where there's like a technical solution, right? Programmatic advertising would fit in that zone, right? But another angle that I like to look at too is going outside of the software zone and going into the coaching or information zone, and figuring out who are the people that solve something either similar, nuanced, another part of what I do or what I need to have happen. Those could be good zones too, where it's like, I deal with this part of the journey, they deal with that part, right? That could be a good zone too. It depends on the coach for whether or not there's powerful alignment, and the best partnerships when it comes to coaches are going to be the ones that ultimately they fall in love with your product, right? And so that partnership play, they may or may not, like, the right zone might be that they get to use your product for free or whatever, right? Where it's like you're using it as a way where they want to recommend it to all their clients. They want to recommend it because they get good results and can speak powerfully to it, right? Does that make sense? That's another good zone to look for partnerships too. Can you think of any zones that are?
I love that.
Go ahead.
I love that. And I was not saying no to you. My kids were like, "Can I get in the show?" I was like, "No, not today." Yeah, I love that idea of coaches. Makes sense to, work it with them, help them. I mean, others, so I'm actually talking to our friend John Doherty next week. He fits a bunch of those. He's a coach to agencies, but like a year and a half ago, he's like, you should really use referrals while you sleep for agencies. And I talked to him today, and I was like, yeah, some other people have said that. I was like, I know you said that forever ago. I'm stubborn. So, all that say agencies, right? So like people that actually serve clients that are wanting to grow.
Right.
Like they can either use my service, white label my service, any of that. I've talked to a few of those.
Right.
Is that what you meant? Like, am I answering the question correct?
Yeah. So John is a perfect example of what I'm meaning in terms of a coach, right? So he is at this point, like, gearing himself toward coaching around this topic, building up his coaching around that as well. And yeah, like I forget, I just talked to him, but I don't, is he focusing specifically on agencies right now? I don't remember if that was the case. Yeah, perfect. So I mean, yeah, he's a perfect example. You're looking for somebody like that you could say, hey, let's do some content to my audience that we promote together to both of our audiences about what you do and how you help, right? And then, like, the whole thing that I make very clear in it is all the leads generated are shared between us, right? So they're co-opted into both of our lists. So whatever we generate off of it, it grows your list in the process as well, and starts seeding your list into the kind of people that you're looking to attract on that front too. But yeah, people like John are perfect. Other people who have a powerful message to your audience, to the people that you're looking to attract. So yeah, that's perfect. Anybody else coming to mind?
Just need to do some content with Mike Michalowicz. That'd be perfect.
That would be perfect.
But authors that talk about growing your business or building your business with your lifestyle.
Right.
So they're not coaches, but they're authors. That would be great.
Harris. You wrote the book.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That I don't know if I told you, like, that is the first book I read that started me on this journey. And when I read the Pareto principle, which is foundation of my life and everything I do, that was the first time I read about it. I read that, and then the book E-Myth Revisited back to back in I don't know, 2009. And 2 years later, we were in Costa Rica for 3 months, and here we are
now. Indeed. But yeah, I think those could be powerful for sure. But yeah, that zone though. So yeah, I think about the software, the technical solutions, and I think about the coaches largely. I don't know if there's any other zones that I often look for. The other ones that can be like they could still sometimes be good is if you have somebody that like has a really powerful message for your audience, even if they don't necessarily have like a dedicated business around it or that sort of thing. You can still find opportunities there, but they're probably going to be less you do a webinar and you grow your list by a few hundred, and it's more good content for your audience. But yeah, but within those two,
So well-known people like that Epstein guy.
Oh, jeez. Probably not that guy. Well, I mean, he wouldn't have much to say today anyway. But whew.
A response from you like that in a long time.
Oh, geez. But yeah, and I can't think of any of the other zones that I've targeted in the past, but those are the main ones. I think the kind of the software, and then the coaches or influencers. Yeah. And in that same bucket. Yeah. Authors, speakers, podcast hosts, right? Like anybody that's in that space where it's like they're a person of influence on a topic, and like largely their business is around information, right?
Yeah. So I would think for me, maybe even individual agencies. Right. Like, if someone like helps people publish a book, or some, like they are an agency that don't do what I do. Right. But even, Brooke, me and Brooke, we do a lot of the same thing, but we're still good connects.
Yeah. And there's opportunity there. The only downside in your overall cultivation around this is it depends on what your goals are. If you want to maximize the opportunity to grow your list, then who you partner with on that front makes a difference for what the opportunities are, right? And so
that's true. Yeah.
So there could be good information, but there may not be a ton of growth, right? And so that's why, like, I look for, like, I look for that mix of who are the people that are hungry for more excuses to promote, right? Who are hungry for more excuses to promote, but already have the audience to promote too. They're not struggling with like, I need to get people to see this. They're struggling with, I don't know what to tell them. Does that make sense? Or I don't know how to do it in a way that actually works well. So that's where I most look for those opportunities. And yet at the same time, it's like, I will still have my people that are like, we have a relationship. We have, I know you have value to bring to this audience. And so we'll do content together, not because I think it's going to grow my audience, but because I think it'll actually help my audience. And then over time, if everybody's working at their partnerships the same way, then naturally, when you do content together, yes, like there starts to become more opportunity too. But it's kind of like in BNI. If you're only ever doing BNI, you're probably not going to be able to bring a lot of business to people, because you need outside relationships to be able to refer into the network. Similarly, for something like this, you probably need outside relationships that have the big list in order to then start to grow your own list, so that you start to be an opportunity in that way too. And same thing for anybody that's partnered. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
So it's not a pass fail, but it depends on what your goals are, for who you target.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so for you, we got a few types of lists of people, right? So You have kind of your really big names, maybe they're in like your dream 100. If you could get a partnership with like this CRM or whatnot, it's like they have a massive audience, and even though the overlap isn't perfect, like your people are there somewhere, right? So you have that zone, and then you have the other zone where it's like maybe the audience isn't quite as massive, but it's still large, and there's more alignment to exactly what you do with like the programmatic advertising, the tools that are designed to like cultivate who are the warmest people in your list, who are the warmest people in your social following, things like that, right? Those sorts of softwares. Right. We have coaches and consultants, people like John for sure, people that have a following, have an audience as well. Do you feel like right now you would know what to do to get the opportunity to do a webinar and then actually do the webinar based on what we've talked about so far? Are there still questions?
So, I think so. Yeah, I would. I mean, I could find those people. I've got some. I know what to say. Hey, we serve the same audience. I'd love to do a show with you, interviews an expert, introduce you to my audience.
Right.
I would probably, use my Claude code to help refine, what is a good topic that their audience and my audience would use. And, I've been trying to think like, I guess referrals while you sleep work. But all the podcast coaches say that you need to name your show something that people are searching for, like SEO. And like, what is it? Build my business without burnout. I don't know if that's what they're searching, but probably searching build my business. I think that's the big insight that I have is how do you do it without burning out?
Right.
But yeah, like thinking, grow without the grind. I don't know if that's true. They're still grinding. Right. Like, I think that's just part of it.
Grow without grinder. Is that what you're saying your show is going to be called?
Grow with grinder. Grow with grinder. Someone just hopped on watching this. We are talking about business. And yeah, so it's kind of that build without burnout. That's kind of the thought. Like, what is a topic that they can bring to my audience, I can bring to theirs that talks about it in general. Like, that's 90% of it. Yeah. And then if it goes well, say, hey, would you like to do a series of these?
Right.
I found this could work really well.
And so there's a trick to it to me. And again, it depends on what you're looking to do. So I specifically like to do webinars because of the list growth. You don't typically get list growth off of the podcast by itself, or at least it is less guaranteed. Does that make sense? You can get people to promote a podcast, but there is less of an expectation that I register to receive a podcast. Does that make sense? There is always the expectation that I register to get access to a webinar or even a replay. And so the same, like almost the same exact content, but put behind an event versus put into a podcast can make the difference whether it's list growth or not. So like one of the things that I found is I like to do both. And what I strategically do is I want to set up a time where there's actually the event, right? There's the we're going to do a webinar, and the webinar is going to be, it's going to have there's a promise for the webinar, like what you're going to walk away with, right? And we're going to make sure that that's actually delivered, right? We're going to make sure that people walk away knowing how to do whatever was promised, and that promise helps the people that we're looking for. And so like I'll spend time brainstorming these topics with people and kind of laying out, okay, yeah, here's what we're going to teach, here's what we're going to cover, and be able to do it that way. Then what I like to do for the show or the podcast portion is essentially a free flow conversation through that same sort of thing, right? And that's something that is easy to like go live with. It's something that's easy to do more the duo video style. And I typically on something like that, I'm not looking for slides. I'm not looking for exact step-by-step. Everything is just conversation, right? It could be the same topic, but it's done this way. And so, and then often we'll leverage that as part of being able to promote the webinar itself, right? And so it gives content to use. It creates more space, more opportunity for it. But I do want to be, I want to be specific. If your goal is list growth and like email list growth, it'll be 10 times more effective to do a webinar than it will be to just do a show or just do the podcast portion. Because
that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point.
But the podcast portion still helps and it's still useful. And it's actually fairly easy when you establish whatever you would be doing on like a webinar, because you just have a similar conversation and less of a exact structure that you're teaching through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you?
Yeah. So do an actual webinar. So,
do you think if if you had somebody who wanted to do a webinar with you, that you have what you need to be able to launch a webinar where you'd have registrations, you would be able to grow your list off of it, and know how to position it to your audience?
Of course, because I have you.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Say without me. Would you know what to do, or are there questions that I still need to answer?
I don't think so. I mean, like literally, because I've got you, because I've got your frameworks. I know what we've done in the past. Like I'd probably hop on one of your group calls to ask, specific questions. In general, I know how you work. I mean, we've done it on, people can watch the Get Shit Done show. We can go back and see we've done it live. We build the page, we build the email series. I think like we've done it enough that like you've walked us, like there's nothing hidden. You walked us through your whole system. Me and you, we did it with Kevin. We did it with Kevin a while back, to his audience. So, like I've done it with you enough, which is pretty cool that I think I can execute on it.
Love it. Yeah, and I mean, for anybody watching, I think the technical side of it, the simplest thing to do is just literally use Zoom. If you don't have Zoom webinars, that can be okay depending on the size of what you're doing. But even just Zoom meeting with
that matters.
What's that?
That matters.
It can.
Are you saying size matters?
It can. So Zoom meetings, I forget what the upper limit is for Zoom meetings by default. But I've seen, we've both seen real big names run essentially webinar style in Zoom meetings. So it's not like it can't work by any means. Lots of people do it. I forget what the upper limit is on it, but the biggest difference between meetings versus webinars is registrants to a webinar come in without camera on, without the ability to interact that way other than chat. You can promote them to panelists that they can gain that ability, but by default it's not on. So it's more of they're coming in expecting to consume and participate in chat rather than be on camera and interact in the meeting that way. So that's the main difference between Zoom meetings and webinars. But like literally the built-in registration pages and that process work fine. I haven't done it a ton with the meetings. I need to check what I see on there if there's enough, but I know you could turn on registration for Zoom meetings, and effectively that's all you need. You need the ability for people to be able to put in their name, put in their email address, and that's the minimum viable like thing. You don't need complicated software for the other stuff. It's like a title, description, ability to register. That's like 90% of what you need. Now, if you want to really refine that, there's some really cool things that you could do to maximize how well you qualify the leads that are generated, how well your pages are set up to really powerfully communicate the message and all that. And that's what I help my clients with for sure. But just getting something up is going to be the most important part. And it's not something, you don't need super duper fancy software to do it. It's something that you can run. Shoot, honestly, even if you don't have Zoom, even if you got like Google Meet and you're running it off of Google Meet and you throw a Google form in front of it to register for people to it, like that would be fine too. So there's lots of ways that you can get it done. But most people already have Zoom. Zoom is a great way to get it going.
Yeah.
Who for you do you think like would make the most sense to target and to get a partnership going with?
I mean, first person that pops in mind is Vanessa, right? Like she's growing FounderWell software. I'm in the industry. This is the perfect solution for founders, Right. So that was the first. And Cassie just called me. So it's 5:30 here in Puerto Rico, and she called me. I've got to hop off here in a couple of minutes.
Cool.
But for me, Vanessa would be the first, and then probably John would be the next. Like depending. When we talked, he said, he's going to be a test dummy, for referrals while he sleeps. So, hey, let's run it for me. And so I think those two would be great, which is cool because they know each other. Just so cool. All the groups of people that I know.
Love it. Well, yeah, there we go. Did that clarify things for you? I feel like I'd reached out a while back. Pikachu. Charlie has become Pikachu. It's the kid face filter.
That was you. All right, hey, hop off.
But
it matches the shirt, so
nice. Did that clarify
that? That was really, really helpful.
What
yeah.
And we'll go ahead and wrap. What were your big takeaways of like what that unlocked for you that you hadn't thought about before, or like is it something that makes sense for you to try and implement, or if not, why not?
Yeah. So I think the probably the three things. So one is just recognizing, all right, I've got a brand new list and it's businesses that want to build without burnout. All right. So that's cool. And then don't lead with, hey, let's get married.
Right.
Lead with, hey, I would like to do a show with you, a webinar with you.
Right.
And of course, it's reciprocity. Find someone that let's generate leads. I think that's the other big, I have not thought about that. Like, hey, use a webinar. Like, I know that for most people, leads are a liability. 2 more minutes. But there are also good leads, and they're all leads are not equal, but there's not a business that wants to grow that doesn't want leads. So just that leading with what they want, So build a business without burnout, do a webinar, introduce you to my sphere, get leads, and then, how to pick the people. Like, you've got some really good insights there. The biggest thing is, like, Dean Jackson calls it potato chip marketing. Start with a simple yes, lead with reciprocity all the way. You don't, the people that I know, like, I'm pretty sure that I want to work with them. But as you do this, like, you don't know whether you even want to work with them. So, like, do the 1-6-12 strategy that I've got. So you really help me, like, see how it would work for me.
Right.
And, I think that's just the biggest thing. Like, why jump in and propose a relationship, like this in-depth relationship, when we can start real simple? And it kind of, like, what's the rush? Right.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Super exciting. And then I just got the opportunity to get a good transcript of thinking through this process out loud and clarifying my points of view on some of it too. So should be good. I'm excited because this is something I'm realizing I need to talk more about, is the actual partnership aspect of what I do and how I'm helping other people do the same thing. For a while I thought it was the advanced side of what I do, but I kind of realize it's, like, for me, it's not been the advanced side. Even founders, like, when I'm starting with them, if there's opportunity to promote something with another partner rather than trying to run ads to it, or rather than trying to do something else, like, I'll tell you what, you'll get 10 times. I mean, literally, I got 25 times the results off of partnerships than I did off of paid ads with the summit that I ran. We generated 1,300 leads. 1,250 of them came from partnerships and 50 came from paid ads, right? So it was 25 times more effective. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that's a great place to end it. I know you got to go. Thank you for taking the time with me and letting me help you on this while it helped me in the process.
Oh, awesome. See you guys.
Bye.